I know what's going to happen. Amber will meet somebody else and they in another state, and she goes off and lives her miserable life, where at least my sister still remains to have a chance. They wanted me for what I was good for them at a very long time. You know, I did all those things. You know, getting driver's license, birth certificates, just every life thing that you could think of, from teaching Amber how to fill out a money order. So, and the only other thing I could think of about is the court thing that people were wondering is what the charge is: slander and defamation of character for $10,000 in public apology.
Hello everybody, it's me. In today's video for the low introductory price sale of absolutely nothing, you heard it here last, we're going to be discussing Aunt Tammie going on Oh Lordy It's Jordy's live stream and discussing the lawsuit that she filed against Amber. Well, Hans Christian Pookie Reid, I guess the law is finally catching up to you. I'm so disappointed in myself for not making more law jokes. That's an old Golden Girls reference. So, Amberlynn Reid, her court date is going to be closer, so y'all know, because we're going to get into this, it's going to be closer to November. Dare I say, what if it's November 1st? Yeah, but the court date is not going to be anytime soon. It's around November. So Amber could wait and be stressed out about it. Sounds like a wonderful time to be alive, girls. I feel like a girl of 2021 again. So Tammie had a lot to say. We're going to get into it. She called Amber out. Everything I'm saying is just my own opinions, not facts. The video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm sharing my opinions that are based on publicly accessible information first made public by public figures. Please do not go to these people's channels and leave mean-spirited, negative, disparaging comments. I will link Jordy's video down below. By the way, before we get started, you know what I think is going to hurt way more than that $10,000 that Tammie could win? It's that public apology from Pookie. Pookie, are you going to bring... I have a serious question for Amber Reid. Are you going to bring your blankie? You going to bring your blankie, your blanket to court and apologize publicly to Tammie with your blankie? Can you imagine Hans Christian Pookie Reid, Amber Reid, actually apologizing publicly? That is going to be so much more worse than the money, because she believes she's right every single time.
Went as soon as I could Tuesday after the holiday, because of course I knew I was going to be leaving town again for another 5 days, so I didn't want it to, you know, sit and simmer or have a chance of somebody calling and manipulating, or, you know, just doing everything that, you know, you would imagine that they may do. So I just wanted to move forward because I have no fear in my case. It's very cut and dry. Talk about receipts. You know, I got some receipts. You know, it's really crazy to me. It's very hurtful. I mean, even after I've heard everything about Amber, I'm still a little bit shocked that she said such a thing. That is such a horrible accusation. And every time I hear the video over and over, it's just crazy to say, you know, I just heard this 5 minutes ago, but I'm going to go online and blast my aunt as if it's true.
Okay, so when Tammie is talking about how she didn't want anybody to call and manipulate, I think what she's talking about, this is just my opinion, of course, is that she didn't want Christine, her sister, Amber's mom, to call and manipulate and say, oh, you shouldn't do this, because we all know Christine is very interested in texting Tammie. It's amazing. Christine, your mommy, Pookie, she hasn't had any contact with Tammie, but after I made that video, I found out that Christine, Amber's mommy, was texting Tammie August 8th or something, early August. I thought you guys have no contact. Yeah, right. Amber, you're such a pathological liar that you even have to lie about them not having any contact. Anyway, so I think that Tammie meant that she obviously didn't want Amber to call her, and she definitely didn't want Christine, Amber's mother, to call her and to manipulate the whole situation. As far as what Amber did, when I had originally said that I think that Amber needs to delete the video and apologize, right? Some of you were like, I can't believe you're giving her this advice. Look, I gave her this advice because I knew she wouldn't listen to it. Come on now. Basically, what Tammie is about to talk about is how very obviously Amber's just letting this fester. Like, she's letting her lies, what she said about Tammie, you know, just basically fester online. She hasn't deleted it. And Tammie's about to talk to you about how you can't delete it off the internet. Even if Amber does delete it, the damage has been done. And I agree that the damage has been done, because it's not even about, like, Tammie will talk about how, oh, well, you can't take it down from the reaction channels and everybody's reactions to it. Here's the thing. I don't even think that the reaction channels would mind taking it down. Not that Tammie has suggested that or anything like that. But I think her point is that you cannot unring certain bells, and you cannot unring certain bells in girl world for sure, because I know in girl world people remember things that, like, my Kermit did 17 years ago. Ultimately, Amber was never going to apologize. Amber was never going to take down that video, no matter what I said to her, because Amber thinks she's right. She thinks she's right.
Just I can't wrap my head around that behavior. But, the more I see, the more I realize, and the clarity is definitely coming. So the next form of question I've seen a lot is why small claims court and not the bigger court? And that was a tough decision for me a little bit, because according to my legal advice, I definitely had a bigger case. But as we know, it's a big fight. It takes a lot of money to fight it, even though I stand pretty firm that I would have won hands down, no problem whatsoever. I'm going for quality of life right now, and I just don't want to be tied into that for a long time. And then also, I had to be honest with myself. What is my intentions for doing this? Well, of course, I want the record set straight. So that's first and foremost a public apology, obviously. But you can't remove, even if she removes her video, all the reactions, all the commentary, it's on there for life.
Yep.
And she needs to understand that could damage me in my future. I stand on faith, and I say, anyone that knows me for me gets even any time with me, they would know that it's not, factual or, I just don't really worry about it long term, because I would just say watch your videos. You know what I mean? Just, you be the judge. Just watch them. So but it still is a very big accusation to put somebody that it's on there forever. Mm-hmm. So the most important thing was ownership of, and an apology. And then in small claims court, the highest in Oklahoma you can go is $10,000. Other, talk was I could have probably got upward over $50,000 easily.
Understand that Tammie is saying about the quality of life. When you sue someone and when you are being sued, there's a lot of money involved. And like when you are, whether you're being sued, this is usually when you're being sued, but a lot of the times the plaintiff, the person that is doing the suing, you're like living that lawsuit. That lawsuit becomes like your whole life for, some people, like, let's say like in businesses and ventures, sometimes bigger companies, they sue other companies. So they're suing multiple people at the same time. But what I'm saying is, in general, in my opinion, when you are suing someone, it overtakes at least a portion of your life. It also depends like about your mental health, how seriously you take it. Some people do not take it seriously, especially if they have a lot of money. But the point is, she's looking for quality of life. Do I understand that on a basic level? Yeah, I do. I get it. She didn't want to do the whole thing with the lawsuit where it would take a few years and a few $100,000 and it would take over her life. I get it. That being said, it's okay that I understand, and Tammie, I get you. I understand. That being said, Amber is getting off very light, and this whole small claims court, well, it's in the name. Small claims. Small, not big, okay? Not a situation type nightmare for Hans Christian Pookie Reid. Realistically, she's making more than $10,000 a month. So this is just 1 month's paycheck that she's going to have to give to Tammie. So those of you that super chatted, maybe it's going to go to Tammie. But the point is, I understand that she's saying that she had more than 50,000. She could have sued for more than 50,000. I don't care. Bottom line is, one day is going to come. There's one day that's coming where Amber is going to get really sued. A regular court, it is not the same thing. That takes years. That takes so much stress and so much money. It takes money. The idea is very simple. Like, I understand that there's a very large group of people in the community that, just want to stick it to Amber. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I just want Amber to buy a new blankie. Hans Christian Pookie Reed, here's my message to you. Did you buy a new blankie? Did you and mommy go to Target and buy a new blankie? That's just my question. But deeper than that, deeper than the blankie and deeper what some people in the community want, just to stick it to Amber. Amber needs to be held accountable for the continuous slander that she participates in. I had some people come to my comment section the other day and they were like, oh my God, Tammie will never prove malice. Who cares? This is defamation per se for the billionth time. A lot of you know what's going on, but let's just say you're just joining us in medias Kermit, in medias res, you don't know. Amberlynn Reid went in front of 200,000 people and accused her aunt of a crime that her aunt was not convicted of. Okay. Accused her of crimes. Then she accused Tammie's husband of crimes. If you listen, I'm not going to say what it is because I do not repeat defamation and I do not repeat slanderous and, defamatory statements. But if you go to Amber's actual live stream, you will hear her say, you will consume her saying that she is, you have to understand something. If you listen very, very, very closely, she accuses Tammie of a crime and never, like, everybody focused on the crime that she accused Tammie's husband of, but listen to what she's saying that she believes that Tammie did. That is a crime. Okay. So the reason that Tammie is suing her is because she accused her and her husband of crimes that they have not been convicted of. So why did I just bring this up? Because it's called defamation per se. You don't need to prove financial damages. And it's common sense that it's already with malice. Defamation per se, by definition alone, is with malice. You have to have malice to, say that somebody did a crime that, they didn't do. We talked about defamation per se many, 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 many times. You accuse a woman of being unchaste. You say somebody has an incurable disease and they don't, or you do what Amber did. So there's no need to prove any malice. It's implied.
I get that crazy check that she likes to talk about. It's also called disability, but there has been a couple references throughout the years out of my own mouth. So I know where it came from, but it's still just funny the way she says it. She gets funny.
Okay, so I know exactly what she's talking about. I did not talk about this on my channel when Amber first said it because I thought it was in poor taste. And I'm just going to tell you this. I find it outrageously wild that a woman, Amber Reid, who got a paycheck every month, an allowance from Crystal's parents, supposedly, for pretending to be Crystal's girlfriend, is saying anything about anybody else earning money or how they get money or any check they get a month. First of all, it's amazing to me that Amber doesn't even think about her audience or what she's saying. You're talking publicly, Amber. This is public speaking. She didn't think at all that there could be at least one person in the audience that's in the same situation as Tammie. There's absolutely no shame in needing assistance of any kind when you are having issues of any kind, okay? That being said, Amber has always didn't work and had Casey's mother support her and then had Destiny support her and then had, like I just said, like Crystal's parents supported her before Destiny. So Amber only started to earn any type of money from a job because she got lucky with YouTube. So how dare you, Amber Reid? That's your real name. How dare you, Hans Christian Pookie Reid, go after somebody because they get a check every month? I'm gonna tell you a little secret. A lot of people get a check every month. So what? It's as if like people don't know that other people like get checks for certain, medical issues that they have. This is nothing new. This is what I think happened, okay? I think that Amber Reid, Hans Christian Pookie Reid, Pookie-Lynn Reid over here, she wanted to trash her aunt as soon as possible, as, fast as possible, soon as possible. This is a vocabulary channel, okay? We do all kinds of synonyms. Is that a synonym? Antonym? Whatever. Is that even a real word? Point of the story is this. She wanted to trash Aunt Tammie with anything that she could find on her. It became a rage that Amber was in. Look, Amber was very angry that Tammie came to talk to Jordy, and constantly talked to Jordy multiple times. I mean, it wasn't like every day, but she talked to Jordy a few times. And so Amber just wanted to get her aunt back. So she figured, if I tell them that she gets a check every month, well, there's a lot of people that get a check every month. Do you understand how offensive you are to other people? If she were to, you know, stoop so low and say such terrible things about, whatever Tammie went through, and if she were to make up stories and accuse Tammie of crime she didn't commit, which is why we're here, which is why she's suing for, defamation, slander, whatever she's suing for 10,000. That's what Tammie actually ends up saying in this video, that it's for 10,000. Is it everything you ever thought it was, Pookie? See, Amber, all this could have been avoided if you just kept your mouth shut, but, not Amber. She has to have the last word and the last blankie. My point is, Amber wanted to say whatever she could. She took that Beanie Baby story, which I don't even understand. I still don't understand what Amber's point was with that. She wanted you to see Tammie in a bad light. She wanted to trash her, all right? That's what it is. And in doing so, you have created such a huge problem for yourself. And by the way, you never know. This may not stay in small claims court. There were some people that said, there are certain issues with doing this type of case, whatever, in small claims court. I really don't care. I'm going to tell you, I already told you this. I'm going to tell you this again if you didn't watch my last video. I do not believe this needs to be handled in small claims court. I believe this needs to be handled in the regular court, because that is going to really finally teach Amber a lesson. I agree with some of you that have said yesterday in my comment section that Amber's not going to really learn a lesson. Here's the thing. She's going to know that she can be sued, and she's going to know that, it's real, but she's not going to change her behavior. She's going to continue to say whatever she wants because she's not going to learn the lesson. And I listen, this is no disrespect to Tammie at all. I'm just telling you my opinion. I believe that a regular lawsuit, not in small claims court, will teach her, because it's a totally different experience, a realistic experience, what it's like to be in a bad situation 24/7 time. And that's what Amber deserves for what she did. You really did accuse her of crimes. She wasn't convicted of those crimes. You slandered her. So yeah, Amber was just trying to trash Tammie, and it backfired.
Yeah.
And then the bigger picture, and I had to look at it from my heart. And I don't want to destroy Amber financially. I don't want her to be paying me, a huge sum of money, or even have, because I don't think she would have it, first of all.
Okay, have to disagree with this. So here's the thing. People learn through bad experiences, and they learn when their mistakes have consequences. Paying Tammie $10,000, which is not even the entirety of her paycheck a month in the last few months, is irrelevant. Yes, she's going to be upset about the $10,000. Please don't get me wrong. She's going to be upset about it, all right? But it's not the same thing. You need to really think about this. Why don't you want to teach her the ultimate lesson? I think it's because Tammie's not coming from a place of malice. And I also think it's because at the end of the day, no matter what Tammie says, this is just my opinion, at the end of the day, yes, she's cut them off, blah, 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 but that is her sister's kid, and that is her niece, and it's still family. That's why I say that one of these days, somebody who's not related to Pookie, eventually, Amber, you won't learn from this. You will continue to slander and defame people, and they will really take you to real court, and you will really be out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. A lawsuit costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it will ruin you financially. The problem is Amber doesn't have people that support her enough to pay her way through a lawsuit. Also, as far as Amber versus Tammie, it's simple. Amber thought saying whatever she could, throwing anything she could at, Tammie's image was going to suffice. The difference between you and Tammie is Tammie was talking about facts, things that actually happened. You were just repeating stuff that wasn't true. Amber, there's a difference between that. Look up defamation. I thought that you had a lawyer. You don't, or he doesn't explain to you what is defamatory. Repeating something that you heard that you don't know is true, accusing other people of crimes, is not okay, Amber. That's why you're being sued, Amber.
Well, actually, I don't know if you heard recently, but like in her last stream from over the weekend, she said that she can afford to take an entire month off, that she's sitting on a pretty nice savings account.
Yeah, I doubt that. I doubt that to be factual. But, you know, I don't know her bank account. I can't say I do, but I know what I know. And based what I know, she ain't got no savings. She probably made some good money off of this, you know, and everything that's been going on currently. So as long as she doesn't overshop, you know, she could be okay for a little bit, I'm sure. But does she have a nest egg to pay me a lawsuit? I highly, highly, highly doubt that.
Yeah. I definitely empathize with you sympathize with you when you say that these kind of accusations stay with you. Even if you're cleared of it, this is attached to you forevermore. I mean, you know, people will always think, oh, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. But like, remember that thing about like this type of topic, it's like, you know, something you can't wash off completely.
Yeah. Yeah, it will have lasting effects. But, you know, I can't stay stuck in that. I can't change what she did.
Mm-hmm.
All I can do is show my proof, which I will. I will win that lawsuit, hands down. I have no worries whatsoever to that. It's very hurtful, though. It's very hurtful.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, we talked about, because I mean, you know, obviously, you know, Amberlynn was like hurt by the fact that you came and talked to me and, you know, came to the YouTube and everything. But I mean, really, what were we talking about?
Okay, so as far as Amber lying about being well off and having money, this is what I think. First of all, I think it depends on the month. The last bunch of months, she has started earning a significantly larger paycheck, which is why it's funny to me when she says that she's going to sue somebody for defamation herself. If you are continuing to profit and your profit margins are through the roof because of people talking about you, where are the financial damages? She'll never be able to prove financial damages. And we've already discussed why it would be so difficult for Amber to sue anyone unless it was defamation per se, because everyone is trashing her at the same time, criticizing her all the time. Like, it's very difficult for various numerous reasons. But as far as this money situation type nightmare, I think some months are better than others. And I mean that. Like, some months are like 30, 20,000 a month, where other months are like way less. You remember when she used to make 20, 30,000 views. I'm not saying that that's bad money, but it's not, you know, 20,000 a month. Not at all, not even close, right? If you're getting 20,000 views every day or 30,000, even if you're getting 40,000 views every month, it is probably not 20,000 a month. Do I think that Amber exaggerates things and lies about it? Yeah. I also think, and I've always said this, and I'm not going to change my mind, I believe that Hans Christian Pookie Reid has an outside source of income. She'll never admit to it, because it's not something that she wants to talk about. And it has to do with videos, but not on YouTube. I believe that she's involved in something else, and I'll tell you why. How does a person who admits to spend so much money on shopping and Uber and all this other stuff a month, and when she was only getting 20 or 30,000 views and posting a few times a week, how does a person pay their bills and then overshop? You understand what I'm saying? There has to be, at that time at least, another source of income coming in for her. As far as these accusations following Tammie forever, unfortunately, that's true. Look, here's the problem, in my opinion. Sometimes people say stuff about you, and it's not true. And it's the furthest from the truth. They just make it up. And you don't say anything, or you do say something, but it'll always, like, the problem is people always remember the lies of these people that make stuff up about you, and they never mention the truth. Like, how come people don't say something like this in the future? Hey, remember when Amber lied about her aunt? Or remember when this person went on the internet and made up a wild story about a public figure and it wasn't true? People never say that. People say that, oh, remember the allegations against this person. Well, if the allegations were not true, then that's what people should remember. But they never remember that. They remember the lies rather than the truth. That is why I say show no mercy. Take her to court. Mess up your quality of life for just a little bit, dear Tammie. That's my opinion. Pay the money so she can be forever indebted to you. You do know that if you sue somebody like her and she has a steady source of income, YouTube, right? You can garnish her wages. It depends on with self-employment. Self-employment can be different. Self-employment is even worse. She would be paying you for the rest of her life. Even if she pays you $100 or $200 a month, that's a permanent, constant reminder of her actions. Bottom line is, sometimes when people sue Tammie has a real case. I want to know when Tammie got convicted of the crimes that Amber talked about. She didn't, so Amber's lying. It's called slander. Does Amber lie about her money situation? Yes. Is she lying about it right now? No.
Do you know what about Tammie?
Yeah. Which honestly, I was going to make y'all a little video today, practice some more, but because of what happened this morning and just work stuff, I just haven't had the time. But, you know, all these things play in my head, like on a constant play cycle, you know? And so I constantly thinking about things that she said that weren't true. And like, where could she even get the background to that from, you know? And what really sticks out that I was going to make the video for, and it stemmed from that spaghetti story. So when I said that spaghetti story, again, I didn't, in that moment, I wasn't sharing that for everyone to run with the spaghetti story. It did. That wasn't my intention, but it did come out as, because that's like, that is, I was there when she was born. She left when she was a couple months old. And that's the very next thing that I got to see of Amber, you know? And so it is a big memory that I have. And so for her to say that that didn't happen, I was like, okay, I mean, I block stuff out. I still continue to block things and suppress things, and, you know, so I kind of get it. So I was like, okay, maybe. But when I can go on and on with other stories about my grandson's blanket, or talking with my sister on the back porch, or doing this, or going to visit with my grandpa.
Do I believe the spaghetti story happened? Yes, I believe that story happened. Do I believe that Amber's lying that it didn't happen? Yeah, I believe she's lying that it didn't happen. You know, Tammie's out here saying that she's thinking about all the things that Amber said about her and in general that aren't true. Welcome to our world. Amber constantly lies about reaction channels, constantly lies about her life. She lies about such small issues sometimes that I wonder, do you really believe it, Pookie? Lynn Reid, do you really believe it? Like, the things that she says. The other day I was watching a recap video and Amber was talking about how important it was for Beck to be very serious with Amber when that wasn't true at all whatsoever. Beck had said, hey, you know, not interested in a relationship, certainly wasn't trying to be serious with Amber. Amber has lied about the majority of the things that people said. All she does is lie. All she does is lie. So don't feel bad, and Tammie, get even, go to court, even if it is small claims court, and get a judgment, win a judgment against her, because she's never going to stop. But this is just the beginning. She will be sued in the future by somebody who's going to sue her for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is what she deserves, because she needs to be held accountable for her continuous lies on the internet. Whenever anyone says anything about her, she immediately makes up stories about them. The problem is, it's the truth about you versus your lies about somebody else, Amber. And Amber's embarrassed of that story that Tammie told. That's why she's saying it's not true.
Like, it really does mess with your brain to where you start questioning your own reality.
Amber is gaslighting Tammie. That's what it's called. It's called gaslighting. A narcissist always does this. Narcissists love telling you, oh, this situation that happened, this event that happened, it never happened. It makes you question your own sanity, your own reality. It's a manipulation technique to get them power.
And that, I knew I went. I'm not saying I doubted that at all, but I'm like, why would she not remember? So when she came back on and she said something like, my mom, and her daughter all said she didn't go. So she was saying that, all of them say that I'm a liar, right? You guys will see proof that it's 100% the truth. All the way from my daughter sent her father a message in November of last year that asked, hey, do you remember when my mom came out to California and you guys met up? And he says, yes.
Yeah.
It's there. It's there.
Oh, jeez.
Amber made everything up. She is embarrassed by that story, so she's pretending that it never happened magazine, but you're the one reading it, Pookie. Basically, the bottom line in the situation is that Tammie has proof that this did happen. Look, what Amber did The lies are one thing. They're her typical behavior, and it shouldn't be okay. It shouldn't be just swept under the rug. But the bottom line is there's worse things that Amber did than lie. Yes, she's lying about the story, how they met, but she accused her of things she didn't do. She has ruined her reputation. She has slandered her, and she deserves to be punished in court for that.
Again, lying on behalf of other people because she don't care who she and is outright lying about my mom, her mom, and my daughter saying that never happened, or she's just outright lying again. And I choose to believe the second one if I, had to have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just it's very confusing. I know what's going to happen. Amber will meet somebody else or continue. And I just misspoke. I said 2008. I want to correct myself. 2005. Just looked at the picture. My biggest hope at this point is that she does meet somebody else and they in another state, and she goes off and lives her miserable life, where at least my sister still remains to have a chance, because this has to be horrible for my sister.
This is really important. My personal opinion is that these conversations had to have been had, all right? Where people are like saying, well, if only Amber could just move away, leave Christine alone. Look, here's the thing. I think that Christine has gone above and beyond right now for Amber. Mommy is driving you everywhere. Mommy is constantly stressed throughout this fight with Tammie and Pookie, right? Mommy does everything for Pookie. Mommy isn't even used to doing anything, so you can imagine the type of stress she's under. But I will put it to you like this. In my personal opinion, it's not a fact, but it's what I believe 100%. All right, my opinion is Amber is waiting to meet the next caretaker. She is waiting to meet the next girl, and she'll immediately dump Mommy and stepdaddy, and she's going to run away to the next girl's house or apartment, and she wants that girl to take care of her. Look how easy Pookie dumped Mommy for Tammie. Look how easy that was. Let's just pretend that Tommie's a different person. Relationship is different, and Tammie lets Amber move in like all the other girlfriends let Amber move in. How much more different would Amber's life be? Think about this. Look, it's always like, what if something was different? If Tommie's and Amber's relationship would have worked out, which no relationship that Amber has will work out, but I digress. If it did work out and she stayed in Wisconsin, she would never be getting sued. She would have never gotten into this drama with her aunt. My point is, Amber doesn't really care about her mom. That is what I believe. I think that she sees her as a caretaker and a person to drive her places. She only reconciled with her because wifey dumped Amber in Kentucky and Amber had nobody to drive her around. So that is the only reason that she moved down to Oklahoma, who was going to drive her around. If ex-wifey never dumps Pookie, then Pookie never reconciles with Mommy. My point is, what Tammie's saying is 100. 100 on point. Amber's waiting for the next caretaker to immediately run off and have the next girl take care of her. You do know that Amber's first choice really isn't Mommy to take care of her. She knows Mommy feels obligated for the past, so she drives her around right now. She wants to get a girlfriend who drives her around. She tried that with Tammie, but Tammie wasn't having it. Look at how fast she ran off to Wisconsin and dumped Mommy.
And even though it won't change, unfortunately, me and my sister's relationship, I'm done. There's no making up. There's no 500 chance, or the same for my mom. I can't. There's still going to remain no contact 100%. But that doesn't mean I don't still love my sister very much. I'm still very proud of my sister, from the person she came from to the person she is today, even with the mess, even with her part of the mess. I don't know if that'll ever change. So that's just another thing I'm just going to have to get through, just that dream. I think when I was in counseling, I used to talk about it, and I think I got stuck in the dream. When you're constantly waiting for your sister to be okay, so then you could be with her and her kids, and I literally would say, and have picnics in the park and have birthday parties together, and those things that I do with my family. I wanted that for me and my sister and her kids. And, I was supposed to be an aunt. And I was supposed to enjoy all those things that come with it. And it's 5 times that happened, and I'm sitting here with nothing. You know, my other two nephews that are, you know, the older ones that are still in our lives, that are struggling really bad, you know, I do hear from them, but it's usually when they need something, you know.
It's obvious that Tammie wanted to be part of her family. She just wanted a family. She wanted to be an aunt to Christine's kids. And obviously that situation just is never going to come to fruition as far as Tammie's family. And what she needs to do now, in my opinion, is just heal and rebuild her life from what it is now. I do believe she needs to hold Amber accountable as much as she can for her lying words. And it is sad that Tammie is living a reality that probably nobody really wants to live, where you really want a family. It's obvious she's very sad towards the end of this interview. She's upset. She wanted a family, and what's going on in her family is just really bothering her. And obviously there's a lot of issues going on in the family. At the end of the day, as far as Amber's concerned, Amber did wrong. I'm glad that Tammie is holding her accountable for her lies, because Amber has lied extensively.
You know, and it just, you know, I think I've tried long enough, and I'm just at that point where I need to accept, you know, the picnics in the park and the birthday parties is long gone, you know, it's long gone. But I'm still like trying to fill that void, I think. So some people, you know, think, oh God, she's so obsessed with Amber. It's not really obsession. I was fooled for so long. I mean, I read those conversations, and, you know, when I hear Amber say, I just needed somebody to love me, to support me, to encourage me. I look back at those messages, and we're not talking one or two. We're talking dozens of exactly that. Long-winded messages, encouragement, love, and support. You know,
I don't think that's what she wanted, though.
No. And that's the only thing that's really helped me with the now, because this really got confusing when I first started really putting the pieces and how long she's been here.
Obviously, Amber says that everybody is obsessed with her. Anyone that talks about Amber at all, she immediately says that they are obsessed with her. People talk about me for years. Have I ever came here and said, you know, I really think people are obsessed with me? It's not obsession. When you are in some type of community as like a public figure, people will talk about the content that you put out. I'm not Amber Reid, but people talk about me, right? And this happens for everybody in any type of like social media arena. Amber, your aunt is not obsessed with you. We're not obsessed with you. Obviously, Tammie's really upset here, and I'm glad that she's figuring it out. Like what Jordy said is 100%. Amber wasn't looking for support. Amber was looking to manipulate you.
I know she doesn't want me in her circle because she can't be who she is.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a person that I didn't know she was to that. Like, you know, in the very beginning of all this, I always said, you know, I watched every single one of Amber's videos. And that was true up until the point I was breaking away, and then she'd get me to go back. And sometimes I'd even watch some older ones, you know, but now looking, I've missed a lot. I missed a lot.
Amber allows her mother into her circle because she knows that her mother knows who she is. And whatever the mommy knows, in my opinion, mommy's not going to say, mommy's not going to expose her. And mommy feels like it's her fault that Amber's the way that she is. Reason that she won't let Tammie in is because Tammie will tell. Tammie is telling. Tammie has told before. That's why Amber won't let Tammie into her circle, won't let you meet the girlfriends, because she knows you'll tell. She'll knows you'll expose, because you will not accept her behavior like mommy will.
Like, there's a lot of things that I knew nothing about. And that shows that I wasn't watching the reaction channels anymore. You know, since 2015, you know, I was watching my niece.
Yeah, it's been a lot of the same. I mean,
I mean, not that it really changes, you know, but you know, when you just start hearing just the whole time that she was with her relationships, I would try to, you know, ask about them, and would wonder why they weren't like in the conversation more. You know, I'd love to get to know the person that you're in love with. You know, it's part of your life. I want to be part of your life. Got here, but as far as like texting or anything, but she considered me. She gave me personal gifts for Christmas one year. She seemed very thoughtful in a lot of ways. But then, you know, her story is all top secret. So it makes me wonder, like, whoa,
Tammie is talking about ex-wifey and how ex-wifey gave her all these, very personalized presents and was very nice to her. Look, Amber wants to keep ex-wifey story top secret because, in my personal opinion, not a fact, but I'm 100 on this, I believe that ex-wifey knows so much about Pookie, and I think Pookie is scared that it's going to get out there. Amber, what more can we find out about you? I mean, listen, things can always get worse, but the point is, I think that Amber is keeping her exes throughout all these years away from Tammie because Tammie will tell, and Tammie did tell, as I've said before. And, obviously all your exes know a bit of tea about you, a bit of information about you that you don't want getting out. But TikTok, Pookie, it may always, everything always comes out. And this may come out too.
She feels a love like she's never felt before, and it's that thing has been on repeat. It's constant. And then after you hear all the stuff,
Okay, so now Tammie is about to talk about how the last straw for her was when Amber got into a relationship with Tommy. Here's the sad part. I have seen Tammie try to fight for Amber not to be with Tommy more so and put up more, like, I don't know, outrage out there about Amber's relationship with Tommy than Amber's mother has. Amber's mother is a yes man. And the fact that Christine texted Tammie being like, oh yeah, don't stir the pot is wild. Like, your daughter should not be in any relationship, Christine. She needs to go and help herself. And maybe at a later date when she is feeling better and in a better situation, then maybe think about dating. But realistically, all Amber does is manipulate in relationships, and she will 100% dump her mommy when the right girl comes along.
I thought Amber was just so blinded by the fact of wanting to be with her that if she said she wasn't, then she believed she wasn't. And then when I started seeing out of my own niece's mouth,
she knew
that she knew, and she, has done so much that I was not aware of. I just felt like an absolute fool. I felt like an absolute fool.
And I mean, those text messages you put up the other day, your sister asking you to not stir the pot. I mean, you're the only one speaking any sense.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. It's unfortunate because I can tell that you're someone that really cares, and a lot of your care has been wasted on people that don't want it.
Yeah. They wanted me for what I was good for them at a very long time. You know, I did all those things. Getting driver's license, birth certificates, just every life thing that you could think of. From teaching Amber how to fill out a money order. Just I did what a mom should have done. You know,
can't choose your family, Tam.
No, you can't. You can't. So, and the only other thing I could think of about is the court thing that people were wondering is why there's no, it doesn't say slander or defamation of character. And I don't know why it doesn't say it on that yet, but it definitely was on the paperwork that I submitted in order to get that filed. So it is what the charge is, slander and defamation of character for $10,000 in a public apology. The only reason why there's not a date is because when they gave me the hearing date, it was going to be October 27th. And I, unfortunately, will be on a cruise at that time. And so that's not something I could have rearranged. So when I get back from my cruise on that infamous date, November 1st,
I was about to say, could you imagine if your court date's November 1st?
That would have been something, but no, I'll be traveling home on my anniversary. And so after that, I go back to the courthouse, tell them I'm back, and then they'll look to see what that next hearing date availability is. So it most likely won't be till probably November, realistically.
In my opinion, it seems like people used Tammie. Amber used Tammie, and other people used Tammie as well. At least she sees it for what it is now. This is my advice to everybody in any situation that you're in. See it for what it is, not what you want it to be. And that's the best advice that I think I've ever gotten, and that is why I'm telling it to you. In every situation, see it for what it is, not what you want it to be. So, the court case is, the next hearing about it is going to be somewhere in November, so everybody knows, because Tammie got a date, as she said, where she's going to be on a cruise. And TikTok, Amber, this is about to be a very interesting fall for you. I wonder if you're going to get to go to court on your birthday or right before your birthday month may be ruined. Oh, Pookie, if only you just didn't come to retaliate against Aunt Tammie and what she was saying that was the truth about you. And if only you hadn't gotten sued. Well, hindsight is Kermit. Thoughts, questions, concerns, leave them in the comments down below. Thank you all so very much for watching today. I appreciate it. Jordy's video will be linked down below. Go check it out. Also, go check out this other video that's popping up here. It's on a similar topic. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye.